Hey, welcome to Thursday Night Live, the show where I get to relive my childhood, sing a Sesame Street song, and get to know some of the fabulous people around our community. Glad you've joined me. Oh, who are the people in your neighborhood, in your neighborhood, in your neighborhood? Oh, who are the people in your neighborhood, the people that you meet each day? Hey everybody, when we face problems, when we face changes, when we face transitions, crises in our life, we always have to lean on and turn to people outside of ourselves when we just don't know what to do. Tonight, I'm welcoming in 4 guests from what I call helping agencies in our community. And you're going to love this chat. They've got so many resources available to you, and they want to help you. So here it comes, Thursday Night Live. Let's do it up. Welcome, everybody. This is going to be a great night, a great conversation with 4 great leaders from our community, and a chance for them to share about their lives and what they do, what their organization does, and how they serve people in our community. So I want to welcome 4 friends. One of them, a very close friend of mine. This is my wife, Heidi Horner, my friend Joel DeMerchant, my friend Rebecca Buber, and my friend Sandra Olmstead. And they all represent different what I would call helping agencies and organizations in our community. So I would like to start just by you introducing yourselves and just tell us where you serve and what you do in our community.
Okay, I'll go first, I guess, because I'm the next one beside you on my screen. I don't know where I am on everyone else's. I'm Heidi, as Neil said, his wife, and I'm the executive director at the Valley Family Resource Center. And we are a nonprofit that is funded partly by the federal government, by public health actually, and a small portion through the province as well. And we offer programs for families and their children 0 to 6. That also takes in from the moment an at-risk individual finds out that they're pregnant. So we do prenatal, postnatal care, and all kinds of stuff with babies. So yeah, that takes in most of it. If anybody needs help, we find a way to help them. So it covers a lot.
Yeah, awesome. Sandra, do you want to go next?
Sure. My name is Sandra Olmstead, and I'm the executive director at Valley Food Bank in Woodstock. I've been in this position for about, I think it's about 13, 14 years now. And I am the Volunteer Family Services does more. We do encompass the Valley Food Bank as well. So we serve approximately 400 to 450 people a month through our food bank. We have a clothing area for people that need clothing and dishes and et cetera for newcomers that are coming to our area to help set up their homes. We have some really neat things starting off. We're trying to get into a bigger location, and that way we can broaden our spectrum of services to those in need, such as literacy and intro to computers and just some basic, job preparation is what we'd like to do. I would like to share with the group today that it's a very good day for me. I am so happy today for more reasons than just this opportunity. But I was called by the Carleton Manor this morning, and I am allowed to see my mother this weekend for the first time since October, and she is 97.
Wow.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
So I feel with our prayer this morning that I've been blessed today.
Wonderful. Good news.
Yay.
Yes, very, very good news.
Wonderful.
Thanks for sharing.
Rebecca, you want to take a round?
Sure. So I'm Rebecca Booper, and I currently am wearing 2 hats here at the shelter. I started, my main job is the Child and Youth Program Coordinator. And right now I'm also acting director, as our director is out for a little bit. So I've been in this position for about 6 years, but I've been as the Child and Youth Program Coordinator since 2007. So I've been here for quite some time. I guess Sanctuary House offers a multitude of things. One of the things that we do offer is 24/7, 365 days a year of counseling. So a woman can call at any time. There's always someone on the other line. We do offer 30-day stays for women and their children who need to come and they need a safe place to come and stay. And during their time here, we try to set them up with different services in the community, whether that's social development, possibly even the food bank for, to get them started for food, the resource center, everything. We're all kind of working together in that area. And we also do emergency intervention orders, which is something that's fairly new to us. It allows some safety and to put some conditions in place through the legal system that offers some security for women and their children. I guess one of the other things that I do as the child support worker or as the Child and Youth Program Coordinator, I was working in schools, doing a lot of programming, which is really important. It's key if we can reach our young kids when they're little. So it was kind of an education-based program, but hopefully we'll get back to the schools. I haven't done any this year because of COVID, but
Right.
So in a nutshell, that's what we do.
Okay. Cool. Joel.
Great.
Hi, my name is Joel Demerson. I am the Executive Director for Harvest House Woodstock. Oh, and the responsibilities, they seem somewhat endless some days. Our primary goal is to really, as much as we can, not duplicate anything, any of the services that have already been being provided in the Carleton County area. So we primarily, our main goal is to work with people who are homeless and people struggling with addictions of any possible kind. And I mean, we usually think of street drugs when it comes to addictions, but there are many kinds of life debilitating addictions out there that we do help people recover from. And one of the big programs we have at the moment for that is our Men's Step Up Housing program in town. So it is a program. It was designed to help guys coming back home from 9-month, 1-year recovery programs to have a safe place to get back on their feet again. And also we've, depending on people's situations, we have given them an opportunity to try, see how well they do before going into recovery. And some have done well with that and some have not so much, and they've relapsed, but we give everybody a shot. So in that, they have to participate in our recovery programs offered here throughout the week, on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, and Thursday evenings and Monday evenings for the guys. We have all those programs throughout the week are available to adults, I should say. We used to have a youth program, but COVID kind of changed more than a little for us. So unfortunately, and it's just that we haven't been able to re-engage in the youth program since all that. Hoping to sometime here in the near future, but for now, all of our regular programs are in operation. We offer free 2 weekly community meals, which consist of 16 different teams from within the county that come on a regular basis to provide those meals and serve, which is pretty cool. This group is I know there's more, but this is a really good representation of the kindness and generosity that we can find that's in Carleton County. We together, I think, in a very big way, have really eliminated The people still say it, but not for long. Eliminated the excuse that nobody cares. Bullcrap. we got really good proof that there's a lot of people who care, and there's a lot of resources available. And some of us have shared some of those resources as the food bank has been blessed with great surplus of things. They will send stuff our way, and it's not as often that way with food, but when we get big surpluses that way, we give it away as fast as we can too. And we just try to stay connected, and all these other organizations have been a blessing to Harvest House, because we don't do what you do. We can send people to you that come to us for those issues, and we don't have to turn them away back out to the world not knowing where to go get help. And so it's been a blessing to me to learn more in these last 6.5 years about all these other organizations that are here local in the county.
Yeah.
So thank you. Looking forward to furthering these relationships.
So all of these jobs are challenging and they're hard, and they've been made more difficult this year. But when you first got into this work, each of you, what made you want to get into a difficult job like the one you stepped into?
Are you going to get Heidi to speak first?
You guys fight it out. I think Rebecca was starting to talk.
I'm just going to say, I don't think I knew exactly the whole scope of my job when I started. For myself, I started working with the children. So I was doing programming with children, and my education is in background. My background is in education. So, and I didn't like teaching. I loved teaching, but I didn't love large groups. So when I came to the shelter, it allowed me the opportunity to do very small groups, one-on-one counseling, not only with children, but then with their parents. And I think that was what I liked so much. And I'm a helping person. I enjoy helping people. And so I think that's why I fit so well here. So
interesting fact. I'll share your secret, Rebecca. Her mom submitted the application for her to get this without telling her.
She called me and told me that I had a job interview in Woodstock, and I was in Fredericton at the time working as a private nanny. And I'm like, I don't even know anything about domestic violence at that point, because I was very green. When you get thrown in something, you learn very quick.
Yes, you do.
So, and I'm so thankful she did.
It's a great story, though. Who's next? What made you want to do this work?
Personally, for me, when I graduated high school, and in the yearbook, it said, what is your probable destination, or what was your destination? And in it said that I was to work with underprivileged children. So when I was a youngster, I wanted to go to Africa, is what I wanted to do, and help with the children in Africa. Well, I never made it to Africa, but I was offered a job in Africa at one point in time during my food bank career. But I've settled into this job, and it is, my background is, I'm an Army brat, so I've moved a lot. So I know what it's like to move to a new community at different ages in your life, and how that can impact upon you. So I always knew I was going to work in social services. I didn't realize I was going to be working at a food bank, but when we're in full operation, we are so much more than just a food bank. We listen to, we are sort of like the center, because we see a lot of people, and we can direct. So we sort of figure us sort of like a little resource center as well, because when people come in and they don't have any food and they're hungry, they obviously need some help with other issues as well, or some of them do. So with me, I always knew I was going to work in social services someplace, and I went to university for that as well. Nice. So it was just predetermined. I never thought that I would be, when I first started this job, we were serving 6 times a year. A person could access the food bank. And now it's grown so much. Like, we've had 100% increases in some years, et cetera, et cetera. So the job is like Ms. Buber said, it changes. Yeah. Like what it started as, it can morph into so much more. And I think that's with our community. We have so many fingers that we can get intertwined. and really helped people.
Nice.
Because it's like Joel says, when they say I don't have any place to go, I'm sorry. I don't agree with you. I think we have lots of places
I believe
to go.
the quote was bull crap.
Yeah, I know that's the quote, but I was.
Who's next?
I restrained myself. Okay.
Go ahead, Joel.
You
Tell
did.
us why you got into being a director of
Oh, mercy sakes.
Harvest House Woodstock.
Because I was a mess, man. It's like, no, I my own history, close to 15 years of just drug addiction and a whole host of other behaviors and activities that went with that just was ruining my life, and it brought me to a point of desperation, suicide and stuff. And it just when I was delivered from that, and Jesus Christ was the one who rescued me from that, even though I wanted nothing to do with any of that, not even on any level. I just, the freedom I experienced, I just wanted everybody I knew to experience that freedom, that peace and joy. But it took about 13 years to get there to that point before we started Harvest House here in Woodstock. And, the group that came together, I mean, I take very little credit at all, if any at all, in this whole thing coming together. But, the group that came together, our initial plan that we wanted to work with was just help people with addiction services, because it was just getting really crazy. And it's not that it's got a whole lot better with that stuff, but it wasn't long. Like Sandy mentioned, like it wasn't long. We found out there were far greater needs as well, at least as great a needs in the community as well. Understood there was a homeless issue. A lot of people, because of different addiction problems, it created problems for their families with, lack of nutrition, food, safety for kids. I mean, when we started our youth program later that summer, which we had not intended to do, it just exploded overnight, literally. Like, and it wasn't, by and large, most of them, they weren't coming from like other youth groups or anything in town. These were all kids down in the lower end of town here. And we had that little place on Main Street there beside the Nunavut Slip. It was packed. I mean, it was full, and kids were outside on the street. And it sometimes you couldn't count how many were coming and going. It was it was overwhelming, but it was kind of a good overwhelming thing. Yeah. And so, it just kept growing as needs. And we thought, well, let's see who's willing to help work together to meet the needs as they grow. Yeah. And it's just been phenomenal, really. So we're trying to we're keeping our mandate where it is, and trying not to, very much trying not to, I know we have a little bit of overlap every now and again with some other organizations, but it's not our regular status quo. We try our hardest not to do what other people are doing. There's some similarities now and again, but by and large, we just, when people are looking for what these other groups provide, we just say, listen, you need to go see these folks. They do a good job. And sometimes, as I'm sure they have heard, well, I don't like what they've told me. I said, well, that's too bad. Because I'm not gonna defend, or I'm not gonna agree with them, tear down. And I know these folks on some level. I know their heart and passion for it. We all make mistakes, but by and large, they're a great bunch. They're doing the right thing, and they're heading in the right direction. And if they're saying no for some odd reason, they've got good reason why they've said no. I'm not going to second guess that. And just try and do the best we can to help, encourage folks to listen. Well, maybe you might want to consider what you've been told, okay, and readjust, and let's work together. And I've got to say, most have done that. Most have, taken a second look and say, some has taken a little time to do that. And they've kind of pulled the horns in, and do what they need to do to get the help they need. There's very few people that have just stormed off and never come back and say they don't want to help. So.
Heidi.
Good job.
I feel like I could take a bit from what everybody has said, but I'm definitely a helper, like Rebecca said about herself. And Sandy, it's interesting. My whole lifelong dream was to open an orphanage overseas somewhere. Oh. So just love kids, had a heart for helping.
But then she met me.
That's true. True. Sorry, my dog is going nuts in the background here.
She does that well.
anyway, so a natural helper. And so I started working at the Resource Center as a program facilitator. And then due to some awful circumstances, really, our executive director passed away very suddenly 2 years ago. And I just sort of slid into that seat and was hired. And it is, most days are very rewarding. They're different for me now because when I was doing the facilitator work, it was sort of the hands-on with families. But in this role, I feel like my reach is better. And I can dream things, dream ways to help people, and then help make it happen. So yeah, my heart sort of leads me mostly in the right direction.
What do you guys, each of you, just first thing that comes to mind, what do you love about your work?
The people.
The people.
The
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
The people. The smiling faces.
Yeah.
A thank you. Just a thank you. And
Yes.
yeah, the people and the children.
Mm-hmm.
Are thank yous regular?
No.
Or thank yous rare?
Rare.
Maybe that's
Rare.
why you love it.
Yeah.
Rare.
Interesting.
Yeah. But you don't
It
need
used to
many.
be rare for me,
You
but
don't.
not so much anymore.
You don't need many. You're right, Sandy. Like,
Yeah. No,
I
just
can get
one
by
a
on,
day.
or like one a month. I can.
One a month. All you need is just someone to say, thank you. You're doing a great job. And I'm like, "Oh, okay, good. That's
Yeah.
enough just to keep you going."
What do you
I don't
not
do
love?
for the, Sorry,
Go ahead, Joel.
I don't do it for the thank yous, but I actually hear it quite a bit. But it seems like there was a time early on where it was kind of rare, but I'm going to give my dad credit for something. He's got some unique sayings, to say the least. But early on, it's something he told me once that I've just never forgotten, because it's kind of a bit of a spin off what I mentioned earlier. And sometimes we have to make hard decisions, right? Sometimes we have to say no. We have to, don't want to. And sometimes we have to do discipline, right? It's not fun, but it's part of the job. And, that's the last thing I want to do. And I know the heart of somebody's lazy. That's the last thing you want to have to do.
Yeah, it
You're
is.
in it to help people, right? So,
Yeah.
And so my dad told me, he said, listen, because I was struggling with it. How do you do that? How do you, do disciplinary measures when you're, trying to help people? And he says, listen, you spend the bulk of your time loving the people you're serving. And when the time comes that you have to discipline them, by and large, they'll understand that you're coming from the right
How
angle.
you doing?
You,
Chris Shaw. Great to work with you.
sorry, speakerphone. But that, they understand you're not trying to control their life. You're trying to help set them to greater levels of freedom.
Right.
And by and large, I have found that to be true. The more time I spend loving folks, investing in their lives, giving sacrificially, spending extra time above and beyond, when it comes time to have to deal with the hard stuff, they receive it much, much better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've heard a lot more thank yous.
So you said what you love. What do you not love about you?
Same thing. Discipline. I hate it.
What do I love?
Quickly, I would say the thing I don't like is when you've done your very best to provide the help you can for somebody, and many times these gals too, they go above and beyond what the actual standard is, to see people just spitefully reject it because they're not getting everything on their terms that they want. It doesn't really hurt me. I don't like it because that they're wounding themselves even further than when they came to you for help. Right. That's the hard part. And the only thing that gives me any saving grace there for it to not bother me is that I can leave that in God's hands in prayer. So please help this person, right? Because if I carry their stuff, it's going to make me miserable. I'm going to need a 10-month vacation.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
What else? What are you not
For
doing?
me, it's the outcome of not being able to see what's going to happen with our clients, like not knowing. And sometimes what Joel said is so true. Sometimes you just want to say, okay, you get out of the driver's seat and let me take over for a bit and let me just go. But that's not beneficial to anyone. I mean, a person has to make their own decisions for themselves.
Right.
But it's just sometimes not knowing when they leave. You know, they have a plan, but oftentimes that plan never doesn't go according to exactly how they think it's going to go. So just, I mean, and oftentimes we do hear back from our clients, but there are the ones that you still think about, you wonder, and so, and you wish you could have did more. And
Yes.
Yeah.
That's where I think that's the hardest, is that you want to do it all.
yes.
You want to look after this person. You want to make sure that they get the resources and this and that. And it's the hardest part is when they don't follow through.
And
with the
oftentimes
food
they're
bank.
not ready for it either. They might not be
Right.
ready for that resource, and we
And
have to
see-
listen to them.
Exactly.
That's hard.
Exactly. And I find it very hard here because we've had a lot of break-ins lately, and
Right.
stealing of food and things. And that is really disheartening when you come to work and you find out that somebody's been in and stolen food or clothing, or the bin is emptied all over the yard and there's clothes that are ruined all over the yard. That's when it's really difficult, because it's you just want to say to people, please, everything inside is free. Just be patient and come during our working hours. But you know, and that's one thing about COVID that I did want to say. I know we're not going to talk about COVID a lot, but it has pushed people to lengths, to distances that I don't think I've ever seen before. People are it's because of the panic and the anxiety, I think, that comes along with the pandemic. And like today is Mental Health Day for Bell. And it's so true what they're saying. We just have to keep our communications open with these people, because they're getting very frustrated and they're taking it out on anything or everything.
Why don't we talk about that for a sec? How has COVID not only interrupted, but how have you had to shift gears, or the big word of 2020, pivot? How have you had to change your services and by the impact of what it's thrown at all of us?
Yeah, well, it's hit you as well, hasn't it, Neil? You've had to, kind of modify your job.
Yeah, well, I've taken the opportunity to become a TV and internet sensation.
Oh, well, there.
Yeah.
You're on the good road. You're on a good road.
Really, it's been easy. A seamless transition.
Is this your trial?
No, it's changed everything.
It has.
How do you do people work without people? Trying to figure that out. That's been our big challenge. But yeah, I'd love to hear. Heidi, why don't you go? Tell us. I know your life all your staff's lives have turned upside down during COVID too.
Ironically, we're not considered an essential service, which is bizarre because we do essential service work every single day. So much of what we offer to people is support. New moms, we get a lot of new families, first-time Canadians moving to the area, looking to meet people, looking for support.
I can't hear her.
Am I good?
I hear you. You're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of times we get real vulnerable demographic, and they need the in-person, and they're there for support. And so COVID has made that impossible. In orange, obviously red too. The only time we can offer in-person is when we're in yellow. So we have had to change everything we do to a virtual format, and that's very isolating for families who are moms who are experiencing postpartum depression, or they just, I mean, a lot of us remember what it's like with young children at home. You need to get out. So that's been really, really challenging to meet that need. A kind of a cool thing that's come out of COVID for us, though, is we've been able to offer help in ways that we never did before. So grocery gift cards, gas cards, diapers, formula, wipes, just the real basic things that new moms would need. We have been able to offer those things a lot. And that's not something we really had room in our budget for before, because that was taken up by other things when we were in person. So it's not all been lost and bad. There's been an increase in that sort of work. So
Good. Maybe that's
Yeah.
a good focus for everybody. How has it changed things, and what good thing has come out of
Yeah,
the change?
positively.
Well, for us, we have a set bed of 10 people, so we can have 10 women and children at the same time. But when COVID hit, we had just moved from our old shelter to the new shelter, and we got shut down essentially for about a week. And then we were deemed essential. So we had to kind of do a bunch of different things. We had to cut our capacity back to 3, because at that point, people were in isolation when they came here at the very beginning, and they were, stuck in a bedroom for 2 weeks. And it was hard because a lot of women had come from control, and here they come to us for support, and we're like, you have to stay in this room for 2 weeks, just to make sure. I mean, we've moved forward from that. We thankfully, I guess for myself, talking yesterday with other shelters in the province, we have been steady. A lot of shelters haven't been. We have had someone here constantly since we've opened. And I guess that is, it's not good news, but it is good news, because we're here and we want people to reach out, and we want people to, call us. And I think that was hard at the beginning when people didn't even have access. They were stuck at home and they weren't able to get out. And that was really hard. And we thought we were going to see a huge influx when we moved up into the yellow phase, but we've been steady. And I guess for that, we're thankful that people are still reaching out, and our capacity has gone back up to, I think, 6 now. So, but we've never, I will say this, even though our capacity was low, we've never turned anyone away. So I think that's important for us, for me to say, like, nobody has ever been told no. So, I mean, unless they don't fit criteria or something else, but as far as a room issue, it's never been. So
Good.
Yeah.
How do you guys deal with not just COVID, but just discouragement when you're in charge of an organization like you're in charge of? It's hard work. People work is hard work. How do you deal with discouragement, stress, criticism? Not that anybody would ever criticize somebody in leadership.
Not well. I'll just leave it at that.
Where's that zone? I want to go.
I think we have to learn sometimes. Sometimes criticism is hard, and we have to be humble, and we have to listen to that, I think, at times in order to grow. So even though it's hard to hear, and but you have to take the truths of it and work with it. And because we hear it all the time. Oftentimes when people don't get the needs met that they feel that they need with us, we're terrible. We've done nothing to help them. And, and sometimes we just, it hurts us. It's heartbreaking, but again, that's part of our job. So we learn from it. What can we do next time to maybe make it a little easier or benefit the next person that comes in? So
yeah,
not that always works. There's times that we're not humble at all, but we try. We do try.
Yeah. Anyone else?
I know. I would say for us, I try and look back on the wins, and and focus on those, focus on the success stories. I hate to say success stories, but focus on the people, the faces of families and children that you know you've made a difference in. And even simple things like focusing on the wins of like technology actually working to help you facilitate a program. Just the positives, that helps me when I'm feeling discouraged with our work. And I know it helps our staff too when we're feeling like we're feeling useless because we can't hold babies and we can't hug kids and we can't see our families. Thinking about the ways that we have reached them through this time has been a really a good encouragement for us.
Mm-hmm. What have you guys learned in your time serving in the position that you do? What are some of your biggest learnings?
I'm gonna answer both questions at once. Is that okay? Tail end of that last one. I should say, quote unquote, saving grace or sanity measures. So, I ride motorcycle. It's a little hard this time of year, but in the warmer months, it's a great stress relieving tool. And I have I live a half an hour away. I live in Bristol, or pardon me, Florenceville, Bristol, but the Bristol end of Florenceville, Bristol. And so that half hour distance between here and Woodstock really does make a giant difference, because I on my way here, I'm getting mentally prepared, getting ready for the day. On the way home, I'm working at leaving it back here in Woodstock. So again, and my home, many who know me well, I've said for years, my home is my sanctuary. Yeah, I go home and I enjoy being home. I'm at peace there. I enjoy my family. I've been blessed with a great family, great kids. And I just love being home. I don't feel like I have to go away somewheres to have a vacation. I don't. It's not that I don't mind going. I just don't feel like I have to, because I'm at such peace when I'm home. And so the third thing that has been absolutely indispensable is that I participate in all the recovery programs with folks. I don't just lead them. I participate in them, because I'm not perfect yet. Okay. I do still have issues. I do still have. So if you don't mind, I want to introduce myself one more time, but the same way I would if I was opening up Celebrate Recovery. It's our weekly program. I would come to you, and if I'm the one opening it, I would just say, hey, I'm Joel the Merchant. I'm a very grateful and thankful believer in Jesus Christ. I'm celebrating recovery from substance abuse, right? All the behaviors associated with substance abuse, celebrating recovery from pornography, and in recovery for gluttony and my temper. And, that's the reality. That's where God has brought me from, and what I'm working on now. Yeah. And man, I like I say, I enjoy those greater levels of freedom. I enjoy helping others grow in their greater levels of freedom, and doing that with them. There's a weird aspect there that happens. I'm not the one looking at them trying to say, how can I fix them? No, I'm right there with them saying, we're doing this together, right? Mm-hmm. And so that really does, man, I'll tell you, that takes a lot off my shoulders. The thing that I can't share with them, that they can't help me with, is the administration stuff, which it's indispensable. I'd love to chuck it out the window, but it's that necessary evil, so to speak, that we got to do. So
I figured you guys would jump all over that early on. What the paperwork, forms,
paperwork.
I would have answered it like that, but I hate that.
Yeah.
Somebody else, what have you learned over the years?
Empathy.
Oh, I'll wait. You go ahead.
I've learned since I started this job. And before I didn't work, I worked at a dental clinic. So, I saw people, but I didn't see people. Like, I wasn't into social services at that point. But my empathy level has, I can't tell you how much it's increased since this job. Just being able to hear the stories and the problems that I hear, and to be able to sit back and be able and try to put myself in their place. And I'm telling you, I thank the good Lord all the time for what I've been blessed with. But I also pray for my clients as well. But empathy and compassion are two of the main things that I've learned. And endless compassion. Not, I'll be compassionate with you if you fit in this little bubble. But no, it's compassion for everybody. Everybody, even the ones that swear at me and call me bad names and all that sort of stuff. I still have compassion for them.
It's
because
glamorous,
of the
isn't
empathy.
it? It's glamorous some days, isn't it, Sandy?
Oh, gee, I'll tell you, I've got the high heels right on. Not.
What have been some of your biggest takeaways and learnings over the years at Sanctuary House?
Well, for myself, I think personally, it's taught me to be a listener. Sometimes silence is okay, and you can oftentimes hear a lot in silence. And just taking that time to listen, because I think of the women that we've had here in the stories, and you think if you leave everything that you have ever had or everything that you own and come to a foreign home that you know nothing, you know no one, and you tell your entire story. And to me, it's beautiful. It's sad, it's broken. I get emotional, but it's why we're here. And we learn so much from them if we can listen and take that story. And so for me, that's been really good. But I guess on a personal level, it's been good. I've learned how to set boundaries. And I teach kids about boundaries, about setting boundaries. And it's been very important. And I've been told that I'm very good at being able to do that, put a clear line. And sometimes you seem hard when you do that. But it's important, and it's important in our work in a helping field that we do have those. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's difficult because sometimes I tiptoe to the line and I'm thinking I want to do a little more, but I know I can't. Yeah. So.
And we're always, like Joel said a couple times, I think we're always called upon and dancing around that line of going above and beyond, and we all want to. And sometimes we do go beyond, I think, and we got to rein it back in. But Heidi, your learnings over the years, these couple years getting into this role?
I would say every person that we have come into contact with or met or helped, they all have the same basic need. They need someone to believe in them. They need someone to love them. They need to be accepted. They need to belong. The need in each person is very much the same. How we're all meeting those needs in different ways. Some really practical, and but the need is the same. And yes, Sandy, what you said, your empathy and compassion. Sometimes I feel like it's going to kill me. It's going to cripple me because it's just. You just want to meet every need. But yeah, I would say that the thing I've learned is that everybody is looking for the same thing. They just want somebody to love them and tell them it's going to be okay and you belong here and you're important. And
yeah. For them to have validation, I think that's so important, when they're telling their story or when they're, they just want to know that they're okay, that what they're saying is true and that somebody hears them and that they're listened to. So important.
Yeah. All right. So we've talked about you and your organizations quite a bit. We're kind of drawn to nearly to a finish here. Behind every organization and all that you do and all that you provide to a community is yourself, a very real person. And so for some of you, staff or volunteers that are very real people. Tell us about yourselves. Nothing about work, nothing about your organization. Who are you? What do you love to do? Who's in your family? What did you your most recent guilty binge watch on Netflix, or what's your favorite place to go out to eat? Or no, we're not going. Who are you apart from all this other stuff we talked about?
I am not revealing my Netflix binge because I feel that I will be judged for that. So
I could reveal.
You're gonna be judged no matter what, so out with it.
Out with it, Effie, out with it.
I have two teenage daughters. We have two teenage daughters, Ella and Eden, 16 and 13. And they're obviously the joy of our lives. Love them, and it's a joy to parent them through all the different ages and stages, and we're enjoying these teenage years mostly.
We hope.
What was that word again?
Yeah, there you go.
That's all.
I love coffee. It's just so awesome.
Amen.
And I used to love to travel places, warm places, beaches, someday again. I love music. Neil and I are both musicians, so lots of mental health support through music.
Yeah.
I feel passionate about that. And yeah, I guess, I don't know, is there anything else you want to know, Neil?
I'll share more when the call is done, maybe. But share the things you didn't say. Somebody else, go ahead. Tell us about you.
Well, I'll start. I'll go for it. And I too am not going to be judged on my Netflix, so I will keep that to myself.
We'll talk about it later.
That's right. You might have some
There's a hacker out there somewhere who can see what you watch. We'll get that.
So I'm a mama to a puppy dog. I have a dog at home, but I'm also a foster parent to a 16-month-old baby. I guess myself, I love outdoors. So I love gardening in the summertime. Like, I love to be on the water. So anything with kayaking or boating. I just bought a pair of snowshoes, which I have not yet gotten out to use them because the snow is not there yet. So
Worst
hopefully,
year ever for snowshoes.
I'm hoping it will be soon that we'll get a nice snowstorm. But I know I'm one of the few that want a snow day. I'm ready for
I'm
it.
with you.
Oh,
I'm with
yeah.
you.
Bring it
Yeah, I'm
on,
ready for
bring
a
it
snow
on. But no, I guess that's pretty much me. I'm pretty boring. I stay close to home. Once we can get out and get traveling again, which would be lovely. But I mean, I'm very close to my family. My family luckily lives all pretty much close to here.
Nice.
Speaking from a personal point, this year it's been amazing, but it's been sad at the same time because my father just recently finished chemo treatments and radiation, and he's doing 100%, but had to do it all alone. So that was hard, but anyway, when you're really close to your family.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
but we're thankful that we're moving in a new direction, and so.
Awesome. All right, two more of you.
Okay, I'll go, Joel. We'll let you. You're going to take up the most time anyway.
What have you heard?
No, but you have so much more interesting story. Well, not more. You have a lot of interesting stories. Wow. Well, I'm an Army brat. And I think I said that as well. I'm a single mom of 3 children that are now adults. I have 12 grandchildren. I have a dog and a partner, and so life has been good. It's been testing. Had some pitfalls, and by asking God's strength to help me through it, we've gotten through some of those, and still going on. But I own a home we own a home in Woodstock, and I'm going to be retiring in 10 months, 11 months to the day today. So I'm 64 years old, and I'm getting tired, and I don't have the resiliency that I had, but I have the calmness and the history, or I've learned how to self-talk and how to de-stress situations, which has been great. But I went to university in Halifax, and my husband and I moved here, and he has since passed. But life goes on, and it's good. It's good. Life is good.
What are you looking forward to in retirement?
Pardon me?
What are you looking forward to in retirement?
Oh, I think I'm going to sleep for about 6 months.
Okay. Hibernate.
But I'll tell you, I just did 2 weeks isolation. And that's a very good thing to do before retirement, because it gives you sort of an idea. So it's like, I can't do puzzles for, my retirement forever. So I'll probably come back to the food bank in a volunteer status, or maybe sit on the board if I was asked, or I will continue in this field, but not in this position.
Right. Awesome. What was the question again, Joel? Oh yeah, tell us about you personally. The people you go on.
Well, back in 1973, no.
We got left, man.
Yeah. There are too many stories to tell, unfortunately. But no, I'm the oldest of 3 boys. Grew up a PK kid, mid-teens, left home. That's where it all went screwy. But the Lord has done some amazing, amazing things in my life that I do not deserve. I got an awesome family. My parents never gave up hope. Prayed constantly, and what I used to have I take the majority of the blame. I had a strained relationship with them, and now I enjoy an incredible relationship with my parents. I just love it. They live next door to me on the hill there, Kinney Hill in Bristol. And man, I just enjoy hanging out with them. I never thought you asked me that 25 years ago, I'd have never said that. Right? But I do. I thoroughly enjoy them, and they're just a huge blessing to me and my wife and kids. And I have 3 of my own. Benjamin, he lives up in Grand Falls. He's engaged to get married. He's embarking on some premarital counseling, and it's cool. I love him. He's good. He's good young man. I almost said kid. He's not my kid, but he's a good young man. And I just a little more than a week and a half ago, just delivered my daughter, which is my eldest. Michelle's nice. Or no, sorry, she's my middle, but Michelle's oldest. Just delivered her to Kingswood University. She is embarking on a 4-year program for Christian education. She wants to be a teacher, work with kids. So that's just a huge blessing there. And then my youngest is Darian, and he's in grade 11 at Carlton North High School. He's quite proud of the fact that he's taller than everybody else in our family right now. So, but just he's a blessing. All my kids are such a blessing to me. I love them all. And my wife, Michelle, she kind of she's kind of the unseen, very much unseen, hidden person that allows what you see me to do here happen. She helps look after our home and make sure our kids get what they need. And I thank God for her all the time. I don't give her enough. She doesn't get enough credit. I try to spoil her as often as I can. I do. I take home treats and chocolates and everything, and Chinese food now and again. And she's not big on flowers, except for stuff that grows outside. So it's that's why, in part, why I try to keep my home a place of peace and sanctuary. So it's a place of rest and blessing for her too. Which really, I got to say, this is a cool opportunity. This whole video thing, all these questions and everything. In case you haven't noticed, it does fire me up a little bit. I'm hoping that y'all are encouraged too. It is. It's just so cool to see, because we get one thing this COVID stuff has done is it's shoved us in a kind of little hole that none of us want to be in, that all we see and hear and think about is COVID. And we forget what's going on in the rest of the world around us. So Neil, I just want to say thank you so much, man, for putting stuff like this together.
No problem.
For myself, for everybody else, so that we're reminded once again, like, hey, yeah, we are not alone.
Yeah.
We have a lot going on, a lot of help.
Yeah. Yeah, it's important to keep the mindset of partnership, because it's very easy to silo and just say, well, I have these people that I work with and I have to do everything, and there's more needs than I could ever handle. And that's such a sick and unhealthy mindset. And I can get that way too, thinking about the people that we serve and the community that we want to help. But it's great to be partners together in that. Our church, Woodstock Wesleyan, I know we, as consistently as we can on an annual basis, try to support each of your organizations. And we think that's important because you do work that we can't. And not just with money, but with time, with volunteers, with whatever is needed. It's great to be partners. So yeah, we could talk all day, but this has been great. Thank you for being willing to do this and share about you. It's nice to know the people and the faces behind the places that we see serving people and helping people and lifting people up who need that hand up in our community. So thank you for what you do, and thanks for coming on here tonight.
Thank you, Neil, for having us.
Thank you guys for taking the time to talk to us tonight about you and your organization and how you serve in our community, and you do it so well. We're so grateful for what you do and what you have to offer, and glad that we can partner with you. When things are tough for us in our personal lives or as a society, as a community, what's the Mr. Rogers line? Look for the helpers. And we've heard from 4 good ones tonight, not just them personally, but the staff and the organizations that they serve. And they are there for you, for your good. And you don't always agree, like Joel said, maybe with how everything is done or what is done, decisions that are made, but they're always made with your best interests at heart. I'd like to speak to you tonight if you're struggling with any one of these issues. Maybe you're in a relationship that has gone bad and you need to get out, but you don't know where to turn. Sanctuary House is your place. They're your people. Rebecca and her staff would love for you to call. Maybe you are dealing with a newborn baby. Maybe you're pregnant and alone and scared. Heidi and her team are your people. Maybe you're wondering, how do I deal with this crazy toddler of mine, and how do I learn discipline, all the things that go with having young children. Heidi and her team at the Valley Family Resource Center are your people. They're your helpers. Maybe you're battling addiction and you just have no idea how it got this bad. Joel and his people are your people. Reach out to them. Maybe you're dealing with food insecurity. Maybe you've had job loss during COVID and you just haven't been able to keep the cupboards full and don't know where to turn, or maybe aren't sure if you're able to walk into a place like Volunteer Family Services, the food bank. Maybe you think there's a stigma attached to that. Sandra and her people are your people. They're your helpers. There are people in this community that want to help and serve you and see you win and see you grow and see you flourish. So we hope that tonight you've been exposed to just a few of them, and we'll make sure that their contact info is in the comments. Who are the people in your neighborhood? They're people that you want to know. There are so many good people in our area, in our community, that make life just a little bit easier during times like this. So next week, we're going to invite some more people in your neighborhood. I hope you'll tune in to see who's with us next week. Thanks for joining us tonight. neighborhood, in your neighborhood, in your neighborhood.